Oh, I might move it to the other side of the room so it's not bashing.
Jesus. Oh shit. It's gone in the blooper reel at the end. Hey nerds, it's Nathan, and we're back for today's book review video on Law. Pretend I'm holding it, because we did it via audiobook. Did you end up having a physical copy?
No.
Oh, okay. I don't think
Chelsea
anyone did. Oh, okay. Pretend I have a physical copy of Law by Alexandra Bracken. And
I'm Cass.
yay, there we go. Yeah. Very casual. Don't have to be like Sunny. Sunny was very formal. We'll just do it casual.
I'll go get my suit. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Yeah. Cass is joining us today because it was her book vote in our book club and it got the most votes.
Yeah. Shout out to Goodreads.
Yeah. Yeah, why not?
Good recommendation.
Well, depends. We'll see how the rest of the review goes, eh? Tell us about why you picked Law.
So I was new to our little group and I decided just to have a look on Goodreads for a whole bunch of just recommendations. I really missed reading and couldn't think of anything that would be relatively new off the top of my head. And stumbled across it and really liked the blurb realistically, and it reminded me of things like the Hunger Games crossed with a bit of Maze Runner type stuff. And I was like, oh, why not?
All right. Law follows the premise of gods coming down to Earth, being punished by Zeus, and then humans get to kill them, and when they kill them, they get their powers. Which was actually a really fucking good
It was a really cool
concept. It was a really cool concept.
And it only happens like every 7 years, and it's a different location each time, and yeah.
It was pretty good, and there was a lot of like decent lore to make it like work as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they don't just land in the same place. There's like a special stone where it started, and then every 7 years, depending on where they are in the world, they will move the stone so that way. Oh, pardon me. They'll like the gods will land in that spot that they want them to.
Yeah.
Basically, ambush the poor fuckers. But yeah.
Pretty much. Well, they know it's coming. It's like 7 years. Oh yeah.
Oh shit. Could you imagine a god like ran late? Just
that would be me as a god.
just some random Greek god like just suddenly lands in a park and he's like midway through cooking. He's like,
oh man,
God, is that today?
Precisely. But yeah, I really liked the setup and the beginning of the story because it was really interesting. A little bit slow starting because I think they were just trying to do a little bit of character development, as like a lot of stories do, and just try to give you, because it was based on law, a little bit of an explanation for people that probably don't know a lot about mythology.
Yeah.
Because there were... Excuse that, that's my dog. There were parts where I was like, oh, I actually didn't know about that, and did like external reading because I'm a nerd.
Yeah. Oh, I did exactly, especially when it comes to mythology. I like saw a part and I was like,
That can't be...
I'm going to Google that because I'm a bit like,
Yeah. I was like, oh.
is that just bullshit she's making up? Or no, but yeah, it was cool. The idea was Zeus's champions like Perseus and Hercules and all them, or they're supposed to be the same person, but like those kind of heroes from Greek mythology were
essentially had a family basis.
Yeah, they basically
the house of or family of.
They killed the original set of gods, or they tried to. Some of them succeeded, and then as their families passed down generation to generation, they passed down like mythical weapons, and then if they killed a god and then took that god's place, they kind of blessed their family structure, and they created like these houses of Perseus and things like that. I like that a lot, actually.
I thought it was really cool.
I like the idea of how it worked. We're like, oh, okay, like I'm the new god in this place, and it's like
you're basically like the head of the house.
Yeah, you're the head of the house, but like you didn't have to be the head of the house to kill the god. Like you could have been just some random cousin 9 times removed, but you're still part of that family tree. And if you killed the god, then they make you.
You're it.
Yeah, tag you're it. But then it was like if you one of the people, she became the new god of the sea. So she killed Poseidon and became new god of the sea. And then it was just like, all right, cool. We're going into the seafaring business. Like we're just going to start pumping in stocks in sea, like stuff to do with the ocean, because now we have an ocean god that will bless us with everything we need.
Yeah, because it makes things easier.
Yeah, I was like, that's clever. That's very good. But yeah.
There were a lot of really good, interesting things. And I liked how some of the sequences were written, because it was a very detailed book.
Yes.
And that made it hit and miss.
Some parts you're like, yeah, get on.
Just, yeah, like speed it up. We get
Come
it.
on.
Yeah. That's a lot of dialogue for like 2 sentences. Let's go.
30 seconds of movement took like 4 pages.
Yeah. I kid you not.
Yeah.
But like the fight sequences were really well detailed.
I didn't mind.
Like I really liked being able to imagine what was going on there, because it was very clearly laid out. They're allowed to have that. That's
Okay,
fine.
I was like, what the fuck are they chewing on?
It's another toy.
I actually loved Athena.
She was pretty badass.
Athena was cool, and like even when the main character, her name is Melora, so that she's just called Law. Spoilers.
The name of the book.
There are no spoiler-free fucking reviews on my channel. Law and Athena have a very contractual relationship at the start, and then you sort of see like this genuine sort of connection as you realize like, oh wow, like everything I've heard about you, Athena, like you're a total cunt, and that's yeah, watch out, C word incoming. But you know, you actually don't.
There's a reason for
yeah,
like,
you
the
don't
way
see,
you act.
Yeah, there's a reason the way you act. You're actually very jaded and been very like hurt.
It was really interesting to also see.
And then at the end, you're like, oh no, you really are still. You're still a bad person. Everything they said about you is correct.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because for all of Law's shortcomings and whatnot, she's very much still in the mentality of the old ways and like making sure that like a deal's a deal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the deal's a deal.
But when all this is going down, it's like you can't trust anyone.
Yeah.
It's like,
seriously, like our lives are tied together, and then suddenly they're not, and you're like, you backstabbing hoe.
Yeah. I could have gone now this whole thing in chapter 1.
You mean to tell me this wasn't legally binding?
Pretty much. But that made it super cranky. There was a couple of like twists and turns where I was like, oh, that was actually really clever.
I kind of had the shits when I find out like their bond was not real.
I thought that was a little bit of a cop
yeah,
out.
so did I. I was like, oh come on.
I'm like, she's meant to be a god. Of all of them, they're meant to be the ones that actually like stick to it.
At least stick to their word, yeah. Oh no, that annoyed me. I was like, oh, come the fuck on.
Other twists like her caretaker and their backstory
being Hermes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I didn't see that actually.
I like the fact the magical item of her family's house was called the Aegis, and the Aegis was basically a shield blessed by Zeus with the face of the Gorgon etched in it, which I thought was cool. I was really hoping it would do something Gorgon-y, not Zeusy, if that makes sense. Those are really shit descriptive words. Gorgy and Zeusy. Sound like dogs. Yeah, I would have liked that, but yeah, so it
was cool that they all got those powers too. Like if you killed a god, you got their powers, and you got to talk about. They spoke in the text about what they were doing with them, and like one of them, Castor, who's the main character, is able to heal.
Yeah, because he took the Apollo's power.
Yeah.
So sorry, straight from the get go, when he's like, I don't know how I became a god. I'm like,
hold on. You killed someone.
You probably killed a god. It's like, but I was a weak, dying little like cancer-ridden doodah, and it's like, then he gave it to you. If you don't remember, he gave it to you. I'm like 100%. There's no twist. There's no plot twist here.
No.
And then shock horror, Apollo gave up his power.
But it's also YA, so that might be a twist for someone that's like being introduced.
I've read some YA where I've been like, holy shit, that was
like,
dark and twisty, and I was like, this is not for a young person at all. And then then I've read other YA. I'm like, oh, this is for like 14-year-olds.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I know exactly what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it happened.
Yeah, shock.
But yeah, like the first half I found really good. Like the backstory of her relationship with Castor and how they grew up, and like that was really cool.
I didn't mind that romance aspect. I get a little
right.
sick. I get a little sick of romance in YA books. I feel like it's just
in every single one.
Yeah, like they have to put it in there, like it's part of the fucking manuscript. Like
I think they could have done really well as just like really tight mates.
Yeah, 100%.
They could have.
But at the same time, when you're like, oh, okay, it's her best friend from childhood who died of cancer and then came back a ripped stud-looking god, you'd be like, I'd probably hit that, yeah. Oh, you were so sickly, but now you've got a six-pack. Nice.
How convenient.
How convenient.
But yeah, so like...
Yeah, the first half of the book was absolutely cracker, yeah.
Yeah, I really liked it. And then it slowed down.
And then it really went downhill from there.
And it became really... Like, I was listening to it like you were.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would have been different if I was reading it. This was also my first time reading an audiobook or listening to an audiobook.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm relatively new to that.
I've listened to a few, and the woman who did the voice acting, for me, like, there was even a few times...
She did alright.
See, I wasn't, like, super, like... It just sounded like someone was reading it to me, whereas, like, I know she did some voices in that, but,
Yeah.
like, even...
I got confused with some of the voices, I'm not gonna lie, because I was like, you sounded a lot like that person.
Yeah,
That's
that's the thing. You've only got so much range sometimes, whereas, like, people at work, they were listening to me listen to the audiobook,
Yeah.
and they're like, that sounds so monotone. Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck are you listening to? And I was like, hey, if you pay attention, it's not. But I
But
see
I get what
why.
you mean,
Like,
yeah.
her voice was just very, like... She tried to put as much emotion in as possible. I was just like, just not hitting that mark.
Yeah. No, I get that.
I listen to a lot of, like, horror audio dramas too, so it's
So they're
like...
really into it.
Yeah, it's like proper actors being like... Ah,
Well,
like,
I feel
fucking
because I'm so
going
into
nuts.
podcasts that like the transition to audiobook would be really easy. But I don't know if it was the book or the voice actress or just in general, just the whole change of it. But yeah, the second half felt rushed at the same time as being incredibly slow. I don't know if that makes sense. Like they were trying to rush to get to an end.
I feel, yeah,
But
I
it was
feel like
very slow pace to get there.
there wasn't a lot happening.
Yeah.
But then suddenly we were just getting like very generic answer after answer. Like
Yeah. It became very
yeah,
much like...
Caster's power, and then we find out what happened to the shield, the Aegis, and
Yeah.
then we find out what happened to her family and everything else, and like we just see all that in like very quick succession with not a lot of like.
Coda, no!
Coda, no! Oh shit.
Well, that could have ended badly. Anyway, so we're going about the ages.
Oh yeah, we're going about like the end of the book. Yeah. Even like Athena's betrayal. I was a bit like.
Yeah, I saw that coming.
Yeah. As soon as like the bit. What was her name? Tidebringer.
Yeah.
She was like, "No, I have something so terribly important to tell you. Like, you're about to die, just like the last god who said something very similar.
Basically, yeah. If it's important,
You must
enough-
know the truth." And suddenly dies before the words come out.
But yeah, like they kept killing off characters that had really good potential as well.
Oh, 100%.
So I think this looks like it's going to be a standalone book. I don't think there's anything in the works for a
I don't
sequel.
know how it could be a sequel with that ending.
Like, yeah. I didn't like the ending.
No.
I really didn't.
So the idea of the Aegis was, or the whole premise of the story was like, every 7 years, the gods come to Earth. The heroes try to kill the gods and take their powers.
Yeah.
But, like, most of the original gods are gone except for a handful, which by the end of the book, they're pretty much all gone. But then even their replacements get killed, and when they get killed, they get replaced by the person who killed them and yada. And there's no end to this cycle, but supposedly there is a way to end it. Yeah, so they're trying to find out, like, supposedly there's this secret, and they're trying to find out the secret and yada yada.
That in itself became really annoying as well.
Yeah.
Because I was like, they've had it like the ages
For
in
thousands
thousands of
of
years.
years.
As if
Yeah.
they didn't just conveniently notice.
Yeah. Or just all kinds of, like, dumb shit, yeah.
There was little things like that where it was just like, someone else has to know this stuff.
But it got to, like, at the very end of the book, basically, Law and her best friend, who's now God, Caster, God.
He's too nice to be good.
Yeah, but like they're at the end of what's called the Agon. That's what this whole process is called, the Agon. They're at the end of it, and it's like, all right, so are they gonna disappear into the ether?
Yeah, like, do they just...
Are they gonna stay God?
Are they now gods? Is
Yeah.
she God too now because she's like the last of her house?
She definitely is, because she took Athena's power.
I was really confused by the end of this.
Like, that's what I mean. There was a lot of, like, we just skipped a lot of shit, and it was like, oh, stuff's happening, but we're moving so slow. Yeah, so then she's got Athena's power, he's got Apollo's power.
Yeah.
And then it's like, the Agon ends, and they're just still on Earth.
And that's it.
And they're like, I guess we'll wait 7
Years
years
to find out.
to see if the Agon
So either
is
that is
finally over. And you're like,
Yeah. Either that is the worst setup for a sequel.
but they like, oh, suddenly I don't feel godlike.
godlike.
Yeah, like, so did you lose your powers?
That's what I mean. Do you have
are
them or not?
Are they going dormant? Quick, like, fuck each other with super, like really, like super speed or something. I don't
Try
know.
and heal someone. Just
Yeah.
fall over. Crazy knee. Heal it.
Yeah. She had Athena's power. What was Athena's power meant to be? Just like incredible strength, or
Probably.
I don't know.
I honestly can't remember. It was like close to a month ago now.
The thing where it was like, "This is my city." I'm like, "You're not fucking Batman, right?" Relax about it. Like you.
Yeah,
like,
you literally fought in the underground.
Yeah, we had like maybe 5 or 6 moments where you're like, "I love New York City," and then that's about it. Like,
Yeah.
This isn't your city.
Did you want to mention how much you despise one of the characters?
I don't despise him. I just didn't think he was necessary. So there's.
You were very heated about last week's.
Well, I get annoyed by unnecessary. So there's the gay best friend Miles. I don't know why I keep doing this. He was gay. He wasn't like colloquially gay. No, the gay best friend Miles.
Yeah.
And
he was a roommate, bestie.
yeah,
And he seemed nice enough.
He probably would have been a good character, but he just randomly got pulled. Are you okay?
So yeah, the best friend Miles.
Yes, Miles was the gay best friend. At the start, it looked like a really good relationship, but he just randomly got involved. Like, oh, I can
And
do it.
forced himself into situations.
And yeah, he
literally,
he quite literally forced himself into the situation. Was trying to be like,
where he wasn't necessary.
I can prove it. And yeah, they wrote him in essentially. It was like when they keep a character that was only meant to last a season on TV, so they just write them in. He was doing shit that he would have absolutely no fucking skill for.
Yeah.
No real precedent for. Like the way he's just like, oh yes, I went and I talked to all these underground people for you. It's like, yeah, you talk to somebody else's contacts for them. In real life, if this was like a mafia thing, you just rock up and you're like, hey, I'm on behalf of like Nathan. They'd be like, but I don't know you.
Exactly.
Like, I don't trust you. Yeah, like what the fuck?
I think it was.
This is a secret society. Like, how the fuck did you
know
get
about
here?
it? You're human. Well, I think it was kind of meant to be like, do you remember Walking Dead?
Yeah.
How in the first season, there was the pizza delivery boy who was really helpful because he knew everything and where to go and like. I think it was meant to be that kind of premise, but it didn't work.
But he wasn't the guy leading the charge because he literally knew nothing about their world.
No, he literally
wasn't.
knew nothing.
He wasn't. Yeah, that's
this was all new to him.
Yeah, that's called the info dump character. Like a lot of places, they have the info dump character to try and catch someone up to speed who's been out of the loop, i.e., you, the viewer. And that's not what he's just there. I don't know. I don't like unnecessary characters.
I feel like if you removed him, it wouldn't be much different. If anything, it would have just been more fight scenes.
I think it would be more that not Castor.
Law.
Who's the British guy with the one hand?
Van.
I think it would just be more Van doing what he's supposed to
be
do.
doing like his job.
Yeah, he's a fucking.
That's pretty cool. I actually really liked
he's
it.
an information broker and a spy.
Yeah.
And he didn't do a lot of information brokering or spies because he was just like, okay,
Also,
I guess
when
I'll
was this
let.
meant to be set? Because like, it didn't seem very. I feel like we've got a lot of tech in 2023.
Yeah. I don't know because there were like drones and shit, but then they were also using like burner phones.
That's what I mean. I'm like,
oh yeah,
it's also New York, I guess. So they're like.
I don't know, but I would probably say like around now, maybe like from like 2010s to 2020 somewhere.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
When was the book written? Time for a Google.
Let me check.
Time for a Google.
It should be on the Audible page. Published in 2021.
Okay.
So I guess early 2020s. I just felt like there'd be more tech if it was now.
Yeah, I suppose, but
I guess it's also meant to be young people, accessible to what they could get.
But it didn't really talk about when it was, where it was set, yes, but not when it was set. Yeah.
It could have been quite flexible with that.
Yeah.
Because I kept on talking about stuff in their childhood, but there was nothing, like the settings of their childhood weren't explicit.
Yeah, true. Plus, because they were so traditional in a lot of their stuff.
It seemed a lot older than what it would have been.
A lot of secret societies tend to keep to old school traditional stuff, so therefore you don't see a lot of it. So yeah, I guess you get that feel. I don't know. On that note, what was the part you least liked about the book? Because I know exactly.
The ending.
The ending.
I really did. I was so angry.
The book.
No, I really liked the first half, and then at the end I was just like, but I have questions and they're not answered, and there's not another book, and I'm just upset now. That really irritated me a lot.
Okay, something that it wasn't until I always have a little bit of a research afterwards just to be like, are my thoughts correct or am I being like too ridiculously harsh sort of thing?
Yeah.
Just to see what other people have thought. And someone was like, what was up with like the misogyny shit? And I sort of thought about going, yeah, what was with that? Because they had like the head of the family was always a man.
Man, yeah.
And like they're like, okay, the women could be warriors to help kill a god, but they weren't necessarily allowed to kill a god.
There was a lot of that from her dad to her as well.
Yeah,
that was
I get that, but like they're trying to be all like traditional and everything, but like they came from the Greeks.
Yeah.
The Greeks were one of the most
notorious for having strength in general amongst everyone.
Amongst everyone, yeah. Like Spartan women were considered the strongest of women.
Yeah.
And all this other shit because they not just gave birth to Spartan men, but Spartans. Like that was their thing. And like, they had female gods, and they're like, oh, you can't. Like, you can't be a female. Like if you kill a female god, you can take her place as a man, but as a woman, you can't kill either god. And I was just like, what the? Like I felt like it was just like, oh, she needs like some sort of like fight the power thing. That's what I felt.
I get what you mean. Like there needs to be like
especially with like the whole like she was groped thing and like
that.
I was like, that feels a bit unnecessary.
So there was like a section where it was essentially an assault. I did not like that at all.
Yeah, you're very against that.
I'm just not very keen. But also it felt somewhat unnecessary.
Yeah.
It was just in there for the sake of being there so that she could be cranky.
I felt like that.
Like it's a traumatic thing, and that was meant to be her trauma, but she already had so much.
Yeah, she had a heap of shit. Her family was butchered. Like you
literally was unnecessary.
You don't need to. Yeah, but I feel like that was written because her relationship with someone from one of the other houses, they're like best friends, and then like some bad betraying bullshit happened
and
like,
she was no longer part of their family.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, what did you do? What
was so bad? It's like you got assaulted. That was what was so bad.
Yeah, you got assaulted and you killed the guy who assaulted you.
Yeah,
which bit extreme, but we get it. But then it's also like,
but
why would they hold that against you?
Her.
Yeah,
I didn't like that section. I actually kind of blocked that part out of my mind.
Yeah, that's fair. No one really likes to think about sexual assault on a general basis, but I was just like, yeah, what's with all this fucking patriarchal shit? Like, that's not really how it went. And I know, like, stuff changes and warps over time. And someone tried to use that, like... as an example, but it was... They'll, like, look at the way we happen now. It's like, yeah, but we had that because of the Catholic Church. Like, and if they stayed true to their, like, traditions, as we saw through 90% of the book that they did... Because, like, they even killed each other with... swords they and made arrows their own, and shit. Yeah,
they actually had their traditional weaponry and whatnot.
Because they were afraid that if they killed a god with a gun, because of the wording of the Agon, like they wouldn't even get the god's power. So they literally were
trying to keep it as like literally to the book.
Spears and staves and gladiuses.
There was something else that they made their own. They makeshift out of like curtain rods and stuff to make.
Oh, curtain rods and a knife. Yeah. A Gladys or something.
No, it's not with a D. I can't remember what it's called now.
A Duke.
No. It's gonna bug me now. It was a dory.
A dory.
That's not in there. I just remembered.
What does a dory look like?
Yeah.
Oh, so basically it's a spear. It's a spear. Yeah.
But there was
I think it's a particular type of spear, but yeah.
Ancient Greece stories. So yeah, it's a specific type of spear with a really long handle that could be shaped in different ways, which makes sense for why they used a curtain rod.
Yeah.
And then she said that they had shorter stemmed ones with other details. Like they described it quite well.
Yeah, they did good.
It was nice to actually...
It's just a knife on the end of a stick when they made their makeshift ones.
Literally. I was like, it's a mop handle. It can be disguised.
Yeah, it's a mop with a knife inside like the moppy part. So it's just like, just cleaning away. Cleaning up crime, bitch.
When it came to certain parts of the book where there was like mass killings, they were actually very well written, I thought.
Yeah, I did like in the park with the rain and everything.
Yeah,
that was well done.
There are some really good redeeming features of this book.
Like, and when she like loses her fucking nana.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I'm gonna gut you.
She goes berserk. Like the fight scenes are really, really good.
Get him. Yeah.
And even like I got chills. I think it was when they were in like the old house, and I think Castle was still in charge, and there was basically like a massacre on there. Was that early on?
When Wrath invades a house. Yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah, that was good. No, there was a lot of good parts of this book. There was just, I think the bad parts really
made it tricky.
Overshadow what was good about it.
Which is a shame because like the writer's done a good job. It's just, again, felt...
towards the end.
In creating like this overall theme of what it could be.
Yeah.
That's a really cool concept.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, they did a good job in having this original idea, which could go a lot deeper. And I genuinely don't know if they were, like, pressed for time and they've rushed, or if they were told, like, it has to be a one-book wonder.
I think sometimes, like, because I've seen books where the premise and the concept of the idea is fucking brilliant, and then I look at book reviews and people are like, they fucked it. Like, there was so much potential and they just dropped the ball.
Well, this one had mixed reviews as well.
And that's the thing, I think... Oh, I looked at the reviews. It was either people absolutely loved it or they were just like, meh.
Yeah.
Meh.
Average at best.
And a lot of the people that I saw who absolutely loved it were like book girlies who would love anything. Like, that's a thing. Get on BookTube and BookTok, and book girlies are like, oh, the aesthetic.
I think, what was it? I ended up giving it. I think, was it a 6 or a 7? Because I did really like a lot of it. And then it just got worse as we went down. And then I really did not like it by the end. Like, I struggled to like it at the end.
Yeah, I don't know. I try and avoid the rating system because it's hard. Like, you give something an average score and then people are like, I don't want to read average. But if you give it a good score and people pick it up and they're like, this was not a fucking 7 or 8 out of 10. Not even close.
I think I did. Did I do it out of 5?
I don't know what you did.
Yeah, I did.
There you go. 3.7
out of 5. It's like, it's not quite a 4.
Such a teacher. Yeah, it's above average. It's above average, guys.
Well,
is that an average amount of snow?
I quite liked it overall. I just think that there was a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah, the ending
really made me sad.
Yeah.
Not like sad as in like, oh my god, that was heartbreaking. Sad as like, what did you do?
If you like Greek mythology, if you really like the concept of people killing gods, pick up this book.
Yeah, I think it's worth a single read for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is worth a read just so you can have your own gauge on it. I can't justify the ending to anybody.
I must admit, I probably won't reread.
No. Oh, I can't reread anymore.
Oh, really?
I'm one of those people that barely
I'm the opposite.
reread.
If I love a book, I will reread it multiple times over.
I can destroy when I said Harry Potter was like, the other should be read. They're literally falling apart.
Oh.
And then I go on another sentence, just
I think I was very similar in high school, actually. Really like series, fascinated by series, and I just read the whole series. Like, no, actually, no, it's not. I think like yeah, high school, I did I did with like more books. And then you're like, oh, this is actually really
so gross.
It's just like,
I know. I still read like the Solo series. And
they were fun though.
they are good. I'm reading one of them now, and I'm a bit the same as like.
I think they're fun as well.
Oh, they've been for years though.
Have they?
Yeah, they've been for years. But like, they did the same as Harry Potter thing. Obviously, as the audience grew up, the style changed. And I just, when I was doing my original set of like reviews, and I did like a cover of the whole series. I've been doing a quick skim of like the first 10 books, being like, oh, these are so childish. And they're like, oh, yeah, more grown up.
You know what? I think Lore in itself could have made a really good TV one series.
Yes, that would have been cool.
That would transfer very well over to not necessarily a movie,
but maybe like a series,
short series,
a mini series, or whatever they're called. Yeah,
I think that'd be really, really good if they were to do it. Like visually, they could do a lot with it.
Yeah,
and still get their gods across, and like one episode could be them meeting each god or something.
I mean, yeah, because they're normally like an hour and a half, 2 hours long. That's a good point. Lore could be a mini series.
Like I think that would actually, because again, it felt rushed at the end. Because it was dragged out, I think it could be good visually, like to actually watch.
Oh, I think it would be spectacular visually.
Yeah.
Especially seeing like some of their powers and shit. I would love...
There's so much dialogue in this text.
I couldn't help myself.
So much dialogue.
Angelina Jolie plays Thena. Not Athena, but Thena in The Eternals.
Oh, okay.
And she's like represents
I didn't watch this movie series.
Yeah. No, it's just one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. But... the whole time I was reading this book, I just pictured like someone who looked like Angelina Jolie, but like taller, like a shitload taller. Because she's meant to be like 6'6" or something. Yeah, she's meant to be like super tall. I was like, she actually played an incredible Thena, not Athena, but Thena in The Eternals. I was like, I couldn't pull the image out of my brain. It was really annoying because I was trying to like.
They describe like really long features and stuff, even facial. Like I could see that working.
I was just like the whole time I kept trying to imagine somebody else, but I couldn't. I just kept pulling myself back to like that look that she has.
That was a really like they were really engaging at the beginning, like the very first chapter is I'm pretty sure Lore having an underground fight.
Yeah, that was cool.
I was like, oh, cool, get straight into it, mad.
Yeah.
Or there's like a little prequel about like the gods.
The gods and
what
shit,
the Argon basically is, but that's not very long. But yeah, it's straight into fight scene and she goes home and there's like a god literally perched on her stoop, injured.
Fucking hurt.
Yeah. And she's like, well, everyone's going to know where I am, so I need to basically help her out. I wonder if Argon means something specific. I don't know.
I don't know. Time for another Google search.
Me and my research. Oh, okay. Agon comes from the Greek word agon, which translates the number of meanings, among them contest, competition at games, and gathering.
Oh, okay.
So
Nice.
it's meant to translate.
Yeah, because it is a competition.
It's
yeah.
like a feat of the strengths.
Yeah, like it's a fight. It's a
Yeah.
competition for your life. Wow, there you go. She actually did some fucking research.
That's what I mean. Like, there was so much effort made. Then why did it suck at the end?
I don't know if that makes it worse because there was so much effort put in. You're like, and you still fucked it.
But I wonder why.
I think sometimes that happens. I saw it with the Broken Empire trilogy by Mark Lawrence. Book 1, fantastic. It's like Prince, King, and then Emperor of Thorns.
Yeah.
Prince, King, and Emperor were all fantastic, but we got to the end of Emperor, and it was just like
something was
the last 5 chapters was just the end, and it was the end, and I was like, and
it wasn't as
and
climactic as you wanted it to be.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay,
Is that the end of the trilogy?
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, okay, you just cut the legs off this story hard, and then like there's a little blurb in the back being like, I could have kept going, and I probably could have written so much more about this character. He's like, but I'm just done with this character. I'm done with this story, and I want to move on.
That's pretty big for an author to like own.
But the thing is, he's done several other trilogies after that, and
Has
a lot
the same thing.
The 2 of them afterwards were based in the same world.
Yep.
And people are like, every trilogy he writes, he gets better. Like his experience gets better. And I was like, cool. But it was literally like on the first one, he was literally like, I just can't do it. Like I'm done. I don't have the energy to wrap this up in a way that's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. It was literally like, I've run out of ways to make this work.
They also have time crunches too.
Yeah.
So if he's rushed,
but he's basically like I think this was before a large like shift in the publishing industry. This was like quite a while ago. But yeah, he was basically, you know, where you build something so big and then you can't get it to work. You know, one of those, what do they call them? Rube Goldberg machines? No, where like you start them at one end and the little ball goes and this does this and blah, blah. And it does all these amazing fucking things. Then at the end, it just like tips over a fucking glass of milk. And that's the whole purpose of the Rube Goldberg machine, to do fuck all.
Yeah.
He's like, that's what I felt like it was like. Sometimes you build something so complex and you go,
there are some...
I don't know how to now put this engine back together.
Yeah. But there are so many books that have fantastic endings. And I think if you've read even a couple, you're just like, this is my expectation from now on.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like
100%.
So, yeah, I was let down by the ending of this book, but that's not to say I hated the whole book. But yeah, like I think it was worth a read.
Yeah. I
didn't mind the audio read. At least that's, you know, relatively affordable too. If that's not something you want to go out and pay money for. I don't know how much it was to actually purchase a copy.
Or just use your credit.
Use the credit and read it. I think that's what I did.
I think it's about like, most books are around $20 to $30.
Yeah, it's not a bad book. I'd be very curious to see if this author comes out with a similar premise but not these characters.
I hope so. I would actually genuinely pick up another one of her books just to see whether she can do it again.
Yeah, in a different way.
Because I don't actually know what else she's written. I think she's written other stuff, but I don't actually know what else she's written.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with the author at all prior to Law.
Me neither.
But there was some good reviews that were not just from like casual readers.
Goodreads or whatever.
Yeah. But the ratings were on the average side.
Yeah.
And that would probably be brought down because, like you said, people either really loved it or just wasn't their cup of tea.
I think, absolutely. If you want an easy listen, maybe in the car, because that's what I was doing when I was driving for work. If you want an easy listen in the car, I'd probably say pick up Law. Or if you want a half-decent read, if you really love Greek mythology fantasy, pick it up.
Yeah, because it looks like they've put a lot of effort into actually understanding.
She put a lot of effort in making sure that it wasn't just dribble. Yeah.
No, I'd agree with that. Like in the car, I'd have it in the background while I was like cooking or doing stuff.
Yeah.
Like it was easier to follow along with for the most part. Yeah. Again, I'm new to audiobooks. There were times I was like, hold on, what just happened? And I have to go back and read a chapter.
Back. Yeah.
That was a little bit annoying. That probably did not help with me finishing within a certain time frame.
I cracked the shits at work because literally one day everyone kept interrupting me. I'm like, what part of I have headphones on makes you think it's cool to come over and just fucking talk to me about shit? Like
they're like, I don't know, maybe the fact that you work here.
Yeah. But I was in the warehouse at the time. Like, this is when I'm in the warehouse, fuck off. I'm like genuinely stupid busy when I'm in the warehouse. That's why I'm out here.
No, but yeah, I found it was alright. It wasn't like, it wasn't too heavy for the most part to, you know, go to sleep
Digest.
within. Yeah. Like, I'll go and it wouldn't be... That's also a catch-22, though, because sometimes I'm like, I really want to keep reading this book.
Yeah.
Like, I can't finish it. I could put this down regularly.
It is put-downable.
Put-downable, yeah.
Yeah. What did I fucking just say?
Something else.
Added a few extra syllables in there.
Little
It
bit.
is put-downable. There we
Yeah,
go.
like, and that's okay if you're someone that just casually reads and wants to enjoy a book. But if you're someone that's like, no, I like to be, like, I like to embrace the whole...
People are hardcore, like
yeah, like, you know, when you're a part of that world when you're reading.
blind shut, hoodie on, cup
Yeah.
of tea, that sort of thing.
How did you know? Because that's how I just rock up at your house nowadays too.
True, yeah. It's literally how I found you last night. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't know what
There's not
else
much
more
to
we
add.
can say, yeah.
But yeah, I genuinely hope that, like, there's more, not necessarily like a continuation of this story, but more about this world.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Though I don't know, it would have to be a prequel. Because
Yeah.
if it was a sequel, I'd be annoyed.
Well, yeah, because the ending was sad. Like,
Yeah, the ending
not
was
great.
shit. They go to another Agon and then
It's just,
they're
like,
hunting.
what do you mean another one?
They're hunting law this time or some shit like that. That'd be cool, but
No.
I don't know.
But like the Aegis was just a decoy. There's a real Aegis somewhere else.
Oh
like,
no!
something terrible like
No,
that.
some Days of Our Lives bullshit.
It's just Groundhog Day.
It's my evil twin. Groundhog Day. Is that what you said?
This world is really cool. I like the fact that this, like, the fights and stuff were really cool.
Yeah.
The gods, super cool. But yeah.
Alexandra, if you ever watch this video, which I know you
You
absolutely
probably
won't,
never
because you're not one of my 12 viewers.
Good book, average ending.
Yeah.
Less than
Good,
average ending.
good book, average ending. Leave the misogyny and the gay best friend at home.
Because he wasn't needed for this.
He
role.
wasn't needed. No homophobe. Like,
I was like, that came across really bad.
I have gay friends, I promise. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no,
I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked it.
overall it was alright. Well, thanks for having me.
Oh no, thank you for coming on the show and let me in your house. Let me in your house and being on the show.
That's alright. At least we could make sure that nothing was destroyed.
That's good. I can't wait for you, like, one of your other books to, like, win a vote.
It'll be interesting. I wonder what the next one I'll cast out is. There's current series, which
Yeah.
will probably never make it.
Well, the next video for the book club will be The Ice Planet Barbarian. Oh, this is a fantasy smut, essentially. From what I've been told, it's not romance. It is pure smut. A little bit sci-fi, I think, more than fantasy, but I'm only about 14 pages in. Two of the book club already have finished it. Chelsea finished it in a day. Someone else finished it in about 2 days. They smashed it. They loved it. I think they're actually picking up the second one just by themselves because they said it was that good. Apparently, it's very graphic. I'm so excited to read this, review it, and then have the other Nathan next to me talking about Alien Smart. This is going to be fucking hilarious. I hope you tune in. Oh, all right, guys. As usual, love you, leave you. I'll see you next time.
I can't have that on the internet.
We'll see.
I'm going to get in so much trouble from the department.
Go to your library. Did you delete it?
No, I used a different account for that.
No, we didn't, Audible. No, we didn't.
No, I borrowed my friend's account before I committed. I need a shirt that just says Coda, no.
I'll put that in there. I'll put like the nice big like wording in there so it comes across. Coda, no.
Jesus Christ.
It'll be great. Pause.
Death by coffee. See. I'm good.
Oh, wait a second.
Thanks. Why?
Because she's stuck in a loop, bitch. So that's called a loop. You don't get out of it.
Broke it apparently in the first movie. No.